What's up? What's up? What's up? Happy Friday. Welcome to a new episode of Unspoken Truth Podcast. I'm your host, Denise. What's up, man? What we got going on, man? It's Friday. A little warmer than it was yesterday and the day before, so I'll take it. I ain't gonna complain no way. It's wintertime. You feel me? Tonight's topic is child support. Ugh. This is gonna be rough. A lot of people ain't gonna agree, but that's the whole reason why I think I chose the topic. Part of it is there's a new child tax credit being offered to the parent who's paying child support starting 2026. And it has sparked so much conversation that I was like, okay, well, that's tonight's topic, so we here. Okay, for those who are new here, welcome to my people who've been rocking with me. What's up? I like to start every episode off with a definition based off of the topic. Okay, so like tonight's topic is child support, so I'm gonna give you a definition. Okay, this is according to Google. Okay, child support. A court order payment made by a parent to help cover the living expenses of a child is usually by the non custodial parent to the custodial parent. Okay, so now I just gave you a definition on what we gonna be discussing. So let's get into it because I feel like my dude probably might want to jump in on the conversation. Um, I understand both sides of it. Okay, both being the mother to children who have child support orders. Okay. I've had two orders out of the three children that I have. Okay. Only one of the two orders have been successfully paid off down to nothing. Okay. But my daughter is also 21 years old. So now this kind of falls under the people who got kids under 18 and dealing with the system. Um, Depending on what state you in, I'm gonna say that because each state has its own different little hook, if you will, with the whole child support thing as a whole. Okay, and the reason I know that is because I've seen a lot of men, not just necessarily black men, but a lot of men, but having to petition the courts in which some of these orders have been created. Okay. I will use myself as an example because I don't like to speak for other people. Like I said, one of those orders was paid to nothing. There's nothing that the state can come after him about. Okay. Now, I'm a different breed of woman because some people would say that that money is strictly for the other parent, for the mother. In my case, for the mother. Okay. But when that last lump sum came through for my daughter, I could have kept the money. It was about $3,200. Okay. This was about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Okay. I could have kept the money, but I gave the whole thing to my child. Why? Because why would you want to set your kids back? Why? My daughter was just about, well, she was out of school. I ain't even gonna say just about. She was out of school when that lump sum came about. Okay, I could have used it for, I could have been like some of these petty baby mamas because it's a lot of them. Okay, where I'm like, no, because I done spent way more than this, so I'm gonna keep the $3,200. No, see, a real woman a woman with integrity, a woman with real character, a woman with value and morals is going to say, you know what? I ain't been able to be selfish all the way up until this point. Why would I start being selfish today with my child? It makes no sense. So I gave her the $3,200 and she bought her first car with it. I'm not one of those parents that can afford to get my kids cars or whatever when they graduate or they hit certain milestones in life and they have certain accomplishments. I don't have it to do for them right now. But that's not to say that I'm not doing what's necessary so that I can one day be that to them. Because in the end, these kids ain't asked to be here. They didn't ask to be here. They are the direct result of the choices and decisions that we made as the parents. So at some point, you got to have some accountability. Hey, if stuff ain't work out, it didn't go how I thought it should. But we here now. So what can we do as parents, as co-parents, to make the child's life as copacetic as possible, man? Because mind you, we the adults, we already know what the real world about. We already know the chaos and different things you got to deal with on a day-to-day basis as an adult. Why would you want to put that strain or that responsibility or pressure on your child? But that's just me. I ain't knocking nobody on what they choose to do. But then on the flip side of that, you have a system in certain states that does not do things appropriately. Orders is put out on kids, between two parents. And when it's time for stuff to be paid out or issued out or collected, the child ain't benefiting none of that. Now, I said that I had 2 orders. The second order, it's still active. My son, 20 years old. He was lucky by the skin on the hair on his chin that it didn't make it over $20,000, because I know things that a lot of people don't know about the power that you can have privately on your own, independently, to go after somebody when they owe you debt like that. But why would I do that when I already see that I can't depend on you to pay what they done already decided that you owe every month? And now the child is grown. The same thing applies with him as my son. If God forbid something occurs, he hit the lottery or something. Because see, that's what dudes don't realize. They be having these orders out here on them, and they be forgetting that they gonna want to do something in life that's gonna require a check of some kind. And what I mean by that is them looking into your background and your finances and stuff. When you trying to go for certain things, when you trying to obtain certain assets, when you trying to do certain things in life, they look at all that. And what's gonna happen is, depending on what state you in, like I said, what's gonna happen is you're gonna be trying to make a purchase, or you're gonna be trying to elevate, or you're gonna be trying to do something different in your life, and you ain't gonna be able to because you got this order, this outstanding order. Because what dudes don't realize is it keeps going. It's got an interest to it. It has an interest to it. Until it's paid down to zero, they'll just keep slapping stuff on it, late fees and whatever else they can think of. Because at the end of the day, a portion of the money that's still yet to be paid, a portion of that belongs to the state. So you can best believe they want to know what's going on or how they can figure out how to get what they believe you owe them. And in a lot of ways, you do. Because some fathers didn't have enough, I don't want to say common sense because that's not good, but the wherewithal to know that you do not allow the mother of your child to stay on assistance. That's number one. If you don't want the state to come after you, if you don't want them to be dictating what you do with your money and how it flow or not, then a wise man would, in whatever job they working, they would put the mother on their insurance all the way up until the baby is born. You know why? Because when they get an assistance and there's no other source or means for medical care, oh, the state coming after you. And I'm pretty sure that the numbers is staggering now. It was about 32 grand back then when I had kids, and all of them over 20. So I couldn't imagine what it rack up to today. And they want their money back because they foot the bill for the birth of your child. And you did nothing, but yet you walking around here screaming, oh, somebody owe me something. So like this conversation came about because there's a new law going into effect, courtesy of Trump.
I'm on child support.
Monte, hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Fine, how are you?
Wonderful. What you got to say about the child support? Because the reason I picked this topic is because I'm listening to people have a debate amongst each other about this new tax credit that's going to go to the parent that's actually paying the child support. So that's what made me pick this as a topic for tonight, because I'm like, I wonder how people really feel about this, because it's kind of a mix. You got some people that's like against it, then you got some people that's happy because it'll bring back some money to them.
Yeah, I think it's good and it's bad. I think it's bad because there are some parents, like it's levels to this shit. And there's some parents, you have the, first of all, the child support for me, because I'm on child support, and my father was on child support. And there's a huge difference between me and my father.
And yeah.
Child support is for men. For me, child support is for the men or for the women who do not feel obligated, nor do they want to hold up their end of the parental rights or responsibilities. They don't want anything to do with the child. So
okay, wait, let me stop you right there, because that was my situation for many years. It was said because I'm doing that, then that makes me a great father. That makes me a good father. No, it doesn't, sir.
The fact that he was what?
Paying the child support.
No.
But that's all that was being done. It wasn't no daddy-daughter dates. It wasn't no picking you up on the weekends. It wasn't none of that.
Yeah, you're paying for your absence.
Ooh. That's good right there, Monty. Ooh, you paying for your absence. Because me and Dru was talking about this, okay? We was amongst each other before I got on here and started. We was talking about that amongst each other, and I was saying you gotta kind of put people where they go in respect to this conversation, because you got a lot of parents, mother or father, that don't do nothing for their kids.
Right.
And then you got another side of parenting that people is willing to die about their kids.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying? The difference, the distance between those two is like, Yo, wait a minute.
It's very far in between, but that's what brings me to the second point. So that's the no. So here's the why I do think it's a good thing. So I gave you the bad. Here's the good. So and I use myself for an example. I'm on child support, but the truth is that when you say the custodial parent, the truth is that you have to maintain. Basically, in order to be the custodial parent, in layman's terms, you have to have the child more than the other parent. Now, what happens is the percentages get broken down, of course, and that's where things can become very petty. This is where you start to figure out what's going on. So nowadays in court, what happens is they just crunch the numbers because times are different, and they know that it's not necessarily the same thing that it used to be eons ago when child support was started. They know that there's opportunity for some of these women now. They know that there's a lot of different things, and they know that.
But also, it's a such thing as a modification hearing. See, a lot of people, they don't know about that. You understand what I'm saying? They don't understand the rights and the options that they have.
Right.
So I believe that that plays a part in whether or not they actually following through with what they need to as a parent.
I would like it to happen. So my case is like the judge basically it came off very like, damn, like y'all wasting y'all time here because it was some petty. It was basically emotional shit, and that's why the courts nowadays are doing what they're doing because a lot of times this child support shit, it went from really supporting these children to like it became this weapon that could be forged and used against you if you didn't play your cards right. So like my child's mother, who I do have a good relationship with, she ended up getting 51 because it was a 51% to my 49%, right? Which I was okay with. I didn't mind. But that was the general number that really came into play. And the judge didn't have to say that. I knew that. That was the number. That's what made her the
49.51.
The 1%. Now, I have my daughter 3 times a day. There is no arrangement. I can call her whenever I want and get my daughter. She knows that. You know what I'm saying? What happened was I was going to put myself on child support first, and there was a reason behind it. I told her that, and what ended up happening was I got a letter in the mail of me getting put on child support. So I think she just probably talked to some people, and I think she was kind of probably shook because she might have thought that it might have went in the other way, which it wasn't. I watch my child too. Nobody pays. You gotta understand, as a father, as a man, when my child comes here 3 times out the week, I provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I provide a place for my daughter to sleep. I don't get any help from anybody. No money comes my way. I buy my child my own clothes, her own little sneakers or whatever the fuck. And sometimes we share clothes too. But for the most part,
yes.
To support my child. I give her money. She's a nurse. The judge was looking at her like, ma'am, and the judge said this, and this judge was a woman too. She sat there and looked at her and said, you make like 2 times. She said, this is going to be very difficult because you have to understand, you make way more than he, you make like twice as much as him. My daughter was on all my insurances from the beginning since she was born. This wasn't a question for me. You know what I'm saying? And that's a stipulation of child support. So when the judge was like, the judge knew all this shit. He was like, wait a minute. So you get your daughter 3 times out the week? Yeah. Your daughter's on all your child support? Yeah. And you willingly? Yeah. So she's like, all right, we got to go in the back, crunch the numbers. She crunched the numbers, came back, and basically my daughter mother don't get nothing. And it's sad, but at the same time, it's kind of like I get a little bit of happiness, and this is where I become evil, because I get a little bit of happiness.
This is where I become evil.
In the situation, and it ended up backfiring on you. And at the same time, I do care a little bit because it's still my child, but I know that my child is good because, like I stated, when my daughter comes here, I'm feeding my daughter. When we making desserts and cookies and doing all these events, if I take her out somewhere, if we go to Six Flags, just an example, or whatever the fuck, I'm paying for that. You know what I'm saying? So nobody helps out with that. And I think nowadays, America realizes that. They realize that there's a big difference in the whole when it started to how it is now.
Hey, Ma, I want to comment because, like, being on child support, there's a swing system. Because see, I'm only on child support because I was married for 20 years, right? So my last kid, he was under the age of 18. So automatically, when you get divorced, you're automatically put on child support. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. I see. I
So,
didn't know
so
that.
even though
Okay.
my child was raised, born, and paid for by me until the day he left the house, when she left, because I filed for divorce against her,
Right.
you know, because I literally never took them off my insurance and stuff like that. A lot of dudes don't know you can offset your own child support, like you were saying, with the amount of time you spend with your child. Because I went to the court and was like, "Yo, I understand y'all do every other weekend. You know what I'm saying? My kids wrote a little letter saying that we don't care. We rather be with dad every weekend. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they're like, that's not fair, to the other parent. So it's every other weekend and holidays and stuff like that, and when it boiled down to it, like I was like, well, I want to see my kid more because like he was born with me in my house, that he lived in all the way
Right.
until he left. So they're like, all right, well, you get a couple hours every week, you know what I'm saying, during the week. So that
Right.
went from a lot of people, a lot of dudes don't understand those couple hours amount to a couple $100. You know what I'm saying? It's
Exactly.
like literally you like your kid, like you were saying, we don't get paid to necessarily watch our kid. When our kids come with us, everything we do, we have to provide food,
Right.
transportation,
Right.
everything. You know what I'm
Like
saying?
it's a joke. It's a joke. Like my
It's
money
it's
will go.
silly.
It doesn't matter what I was sending. I could be sending $1,000, right? She comes from a good family. She comes from good stock. So like it becomes a joke because she could get my money, right? And her father will be like, "Oh, you just pocket that. Like it's whatever. Don't worry about it." And I'm sitting here like, motherfucker, that's my money. You see how it's a game?
Well, I believe
Well,
I
this
believe that
is this is
like you
why
know what.
I wanted to talk about this because
It's a
I
joke.
feel like a lot of women use it.
Yeah, because like ever since I've been divorced,
They use it to control the mental and emotional.
Because it's the last thing that you have left.
Yes,
That's the
yes,
last thing that you
exactly
have
what it is.
left.
You took the words right out of yes.
It's your last playing card, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
courts know that now.
But
They
but
right?
know
but
that.
understand this though. This is what I learned as a woman. Is yes, it's the last playing card, but only to a woman who is foolish enough to not realize that your emotional feelings about him or vice versa weighs no bearings when it comes to co-parenting, man.
What she ended up realizing, because she is cool with my sister still to this day, and my sister's really like on that shit where she like, bitch, like you know what you just did, like she gonna tell you the truth. You have to understand that there's two sides to it. There's the side of the respectable man who still continues to handle his business. I'm on child support, and I still take my responsibilities. I still watch my daughter. The truth is, I don't have to do shit. I don't have to do anything. Why? Because you're receiving the money in compensation for my absence, but I'm not absent. So
Right.
the truth is,
Ooh,
I don't, and this is what men do.
ooh, wait. Ooh,
Never
because I don't think nobody caught that. I don't think nobody caught that. You said that you feel like it's a joke because she's continuing to get the money as though you're absent, but you're playing a positive role in your child's life on a day-to-day basis.
right.
Ooh,
And I think
that's some fraud shit right
I'm
there.
gonna tell.
I ain't gonna lie.
It breaks your home up because what ends up happening is men get petty, and what men will do is they'll stop raising the child, not because they don't love the child or because they don't want to raise the child. It's to now come at you because I'm in the court system and this is on paper. If they're smart enough, they can play that same game. I don't have to watch my daughter, especially if there's no agreement. Like I'm just giving you money. You can try to run to the court. The judge is going to tell you he's giving you money. What are you doing with the money? He doesn't have to watch his daughter. This is why you put him on child support, ma'am.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. He's watching his kid. This is how it makes it hard for women to run back to the court. This is why court does that with y'all now. Because they know they're going to catch somebody lying.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
She was going to try to run to the court for more money.
But then, yes, but then you got a lot of mothers who they doing what they want to do with the money. The child not getting the money anyway. They're going on trips. They eating expensive dinners. They going out with their friends. They splurging on themselves and not doing nothing for the child.
She was spending, of course.
So even then, the child gets shortchanged based around the same thing as the so-called absent parent. Then the child and the absent parent is on the same level.
She didn't need the money to start with. She's a damn nurse. You don't need the money.
Well, my thing
y'all telling me that y'all have a cordial. We're not talking about two people who beef. You have a cordial relationship. This is the problem nowadays, and this is why I'm glad that the judge was a woman, because what you found out with us leaving the court is this. So you gonna tell me that as a woman, y'all have fought so hard to get these opportunities, to be able to get these jobs, to get the education. You gonna tell me, ma'am, that you got it, and you still gonna sit in this court and play like a victim?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're fully able to take care of this kid with or without this motherfucker. And you sitting here trying to take his little last penny to do what? To prove a point?
Yeah. It's a game. That's why I said it's just like using the child as a pawn.
Exactly.
Because you bitter and this is why I said your personal feelings about the other party have to be removed from the equation. If it's not, things like that will continue. Where it's a tit for tat. I got you this time. No, I got you this time. And the whole time the child just sitting here watching all the foolery.
It was the fact that when the judge was asking all the questions and I had to answer yes to all those things, because I was going to be honest. The truth is that when you go into court, especially as a man, you can say whatever the fuck you want. This is another thing that women need to understand. You can go into court with no paperwork at all until they really want to dig through your shit. You can go there and say, I don't have a job, or you can go there and say, I make $10 an hour, and they're going to crunch those numbers up. And I watched the brother do it in the case before mine. At least we heard it. This brother, you could tell, this motherfucker walked in there straight from the hood. Hoodie, Tim's, jeans, sagging out the crack of his ass. The woman was all finely dressed and shit, pocketbook hanging. She walked in there like this was going to go in her favor. Man, she stomped out that courtroom like, fuck you. Fuck you. She lost.
Well, Monte,
she lost the case. That motherfucker didn't have to pay shit.
Well, see, this is why I think that the tax credit goes in favor of real dads. Because just like you said, we're paying, right? And see, for 20 years, I paid for everything. And even when we got divorced, I made sure that I gave her $50,000 in cash. You didn't have to wait for no month by month. No, you caught it just like a bad fight. You caught a lump. Here you go. Bye-bye. Right? You're leaving. Okay. So me being able to tell the government, yeah, I pay here. Here's my receipt for me making sure that I'm obligated to my payments for doing right as a dad. And here's my insurance payments as well for me and my child. Here you go. So I should be able to get that back on the back end for my taxes. Because guess what? I live at a 1/2 acre property. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? My kids got to come back too. You know what I mean? So fuck yeah, I want some of my money back that I gave away that I don't know about everybody else. But guess what? The numbers is flipped on my side. So unlike most niggas, for one child, with just paying insurance, his monthly insurance, I pay $1,000 a month cash for child support.
Crazy. Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts.
So this guy technically can own his own fucking house by the time he is 18, because I'm paying him $1,000 a month. Technically, he can own his own damn house.
Right. And it's sad because people are it's like it's a joke. That's why it's so crazy now, because it's a joke. It's meant for people that are like my dad. You know what I'm saying? People who they ain't want no kid. They want to run around states and shit and hide and not take care of responsibilities until they got caught. You know, those are people that need to be on child support. Not the men who's picking up their kids every week and you dropping them off and shit.
No, hell, how about the guys getting into arguments with their ex old ladies about, let me keep the kid longer. Come on, let me keep him longer. Come on.
You know it's a joke.
And I would never understand that. That is so dumb to me.
I got witnesses.
In one debate, I didn't get in an argument because I wasn't going to give her no masculine energy. But I got in a debate with her because I asked to keep my daughter for another day. Now, mind you, we ain't got no stipulations. Ain't no written paper, nothing. Because she know the deal. She know I'm a good dad. So she ain't trying to go to the court off of what I just told her. She ain't trying to go back. So I told her, I said, hey, yo, I'm rocking with Jordan. Me and Jordan here. That's my daughter. I was like, yo, you mind Jordan stay another day? We're going to probably do something. I said, if you don't have anything planned. I said, do you have anything planned? Well, she ain't have shit planned for her, nothing. I said, all right, so you mind if we rock out another day? No. Why? Now, this is why. Because in her mind, she thought that if I had another day, now that 1% is no longer in existence.
Right.
Right.
She knows that I'm an educated.
But see, that's a person. That's a person who was already in it for the wrong shit to begin with.
Of course.
You see what I'm saying? I get so angry with women like that, mothers like that. You know why? You know why? Because they're everybody's story and circumstance is not that. You got a lot of kids out here. Fathers don't care nothing about them. Don't show up for them. Don't support them. Don't want to like encourage them to be better than them or none of that. You know. But then when I see fathers who actually go above and beyond what somebody is telling them they have to do, or that they signed up, like you said, I put my own self on it because I wanted to be held accountable and responsible for the part I played in creating life.
Right.
But then it's the bitterness.
Right.
It's the bitterness, and as long as
she tried to do her homework, and she tried to it equated out that if I was a petty guy, which I'm not, but if I was a petty guy, I could use that and be like, oh, see, it's not 51, it's not 51-49. Now I'm watching her, it's 50-50, or it's more than her, and so I would put her on child support. Truth is, she's the one that could be placed on child support because she makes more income than I do, and we both watch our child damn near the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So if you sit before a judge and tell these stories, that's why women got to be careful.
Yeah,
she saw where that was going. And I think she answered the judge. Like when the judge asked, like, so do you guys have a problem with working it out verbally? She said, I don't have a problem. So why the fuck are y'all here?
My favorite was when I got divorced. The judge goes, well, what do you pay? Well, I ain't never paid nothing. And he make enough money to make sure that I ain't got to pay nothing. Judge is like, so for 20 years. So for 20 years, you guys were married and you've never paid nothing, right? She's like, never. He's like, no light bill, not food. No. Why? He's like, ma'am, hush. Sir, what are you willing to offer her? No, I want 100. No, ma'am, hush. Sir, what are you willing to offer her?
Exactly.
I want to offer her 50,000 in cash. Ma'am, that's a good offer. If I were you, I'd take it. They be running their mouth so bad to tell everybody in the world, look at me. Look, I figured out how to use my body to get over. And guess what? They'd be happy to try to let a motherfucker know. Guess what? Pussy has power. Like, yeah, it has power to take your ass down, too.
For real. Because they crunched the numbers in the back. Like, it was sad. I felt bad for her. I was like, damn.
I ain't feel bad. Shit,
I'll be real. It's like, shit, we spend that shit on Chinese food.
Hey, listen. I rolled up. Listen. I came with a Brinks truck with my lawyer. Me and my lawyer, my ex-wife. I told everybody, bring your gun with you. The Brinks truck pulled up right behind the Huntington Bank. Motherfucker hopped out with a pump action shotgun, handed me a little ass bag, threw it on the ground. I handed him the bank receipt, pulled out the small block, and handed it to her. The lawyer took a picture and was like, you two get away from each other. Deal's final.
Shit. It's so low that, like, bro, I spent that shit today on tag. Like, just pushing buttons. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how sad.
But see, I'm a different kind of woman and a different kind of mother. Because I don't care about the child support.
Of course.
And I've said this more than once to the fathers of my kids. Like, I would rather you invest into your relationship with your child more than I care about somebody pushing some bullshit on paper. You get what I'm saying? But again, I'm different. But it took for me, and I'm gonna repeat that again. It took for me to learn how to remove my emotional feelings about them, how I felt about them, because that has nothing to do with co-parenting the child or the kids, nothing. And as long as that's a factor of the equation, it will continue to be drama and chaos. Period. If you don't believe me, then try it out. See, I'm telling you, because you can't rationalize with somebody that's irrational. A person that's irrational is somebody who lacks the ability to be able to compromise about anything outside of whatever it is they think is right. That's not benefiting the child at all.
There is nothing after that. There's nobody wants to be held accountable. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? The responsibility. Well, basically, at the end of the day, you guys are going back and forth, and the only victim is this child, buddy.
No, you know what? You know what I think the worst thing is. I think the worst thing is like they don't even like in most states they don't even give dads a chance to even become custodial parents. They just automatically give it to mom, which is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because on paper, I can prove. On paper, I can prove I can take care of the little man because I've been taking care of.
Yeah, but it's all about
I'll figure out how to work.
It's all about who gets to what courts first. See, this is why I be saying it's a lot of advantages that fathers have that they don't know that they have. We know though that if we go file certain paperwork, because I've done it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why when
we know that after that child is born, if we file certain paperwork, we beat y'all to it. Now we're the guardian, period. Regardless to the living arrangements, who making more, how much the child support order is, that's not a factor. We beat y'all to the system to fill out the paperwork, to file the stuff, and pay whatever it costs before y'all did. And that's all it was. Literally. But if y'all was to utilize those same steps that we know we can use as mothers, as fathers, oh man, it'll be a whole lot of hurt baby mamas out here. I'm telling you.
That's why that whole little tax thing came into effect, because Trump is like, listen.
But see, I ain't got no little young kids no more, so it don't.
Everybody who's paying, pay attention. Everybody who's giving up monies, please pay attention. The person who's not giving up the monies is not going to get any more money because they're already getting money. So if you've been paying the money and you can hold the receipt up for the money that you paid, please step over here. Those that are getting money, you've been getting money every month. Please let this person get some money. Thank you. Let them, you can watch them get some money just for 1 month. Matter of fact, you're not getting money. Matter of fact, both of you are getting money at the same time. How come you're not happy for that motherfucker? Oh, that's where the hate comes in. Because guess what? Child support ain't stopping because tax season here. No. You mad because I'm getting a little money too? Why is this? Why is the hate so real? You got the pie. I can't get a slice.
And I said
you got the pie. I can't get a slice.
I said that.
A little piece.
I'm not going to negate from that. I said that it's a lot of women that are not doing what they're supposed to do with the money anyway. And then you got a lot of orders that's not even a third of what they should be to even cover anything for the child anyway.
Right. Some of these dudes.
So what I did is, and this is why I brought up the modification stuff, because I went down there and filed that. I had been on the same order for 16 years. I went and filed that because I was like, I'm tired of having to pay all the extra stuff. Yes, you pay what the order say you pay, and it's never changed. But I need more help. She's older now. Whatever the original amount is ain't enough no more. Like, I need you to meet me halfway in the middle or something. And he was so hot because it went from under $200 a month for a freaking 16-year-old to over $400 and something a month. And he was mad as hell. He like, I don't understand why I got to pay. Like, bro, for real, I spared you for 16 years. Because I never went down there and made a fuss about it. I just accepted it as this is all this nigga give a fuck about giving. Do you understand? See, it's different when y'all saying y'all paying, but y'all still there. Right. It's a whole nother ball game when you're just paying and you're nowhere to be found.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's a different cut right there.
I don't see how these guys feel like they're men and you paying $200 for a child, you know what I'm saying, or $300. Like, dude, come on now.
Fuck that. Go ahead and trying to take care of this motherfucker. Wake up at 3 a.m. This motherfucker sick or some shit like that.
All right.
$200.
$200, right.
That ain't shit. Like
that's not nothing.
What's the child support on this motherfucker today? Like,
it's easy because here's the thing: the kids do not count how much money was spent. We was just talking about that earlier.
No, they don't.
That doesn't matter to them. They care about the time. Because if you was to ask them, out of all the stuff I did for you your whole entire life, from 18 on down to birth, what number do you think I'm at with what I've invested in you as my child? What number do you think and I guarantee you that none of them will be able to give you a number even close.
No, my favorite thing would be able to ask the kid.
I remember when my daughter used to be here at sometimes, right? And I'd be like low on cash. I'll give an example, like when I had a low time, like, and I was like, shit, like ain't nothing for breakfast. I tell her mother straight up, like, oh, what's she eat for breakfast? Nothing. You feel me? What you about to get? You feel me? I don't got no money in here. Ain't nothing in no fridge, and you ain't about to give it up. But guess what? I'm still giving you money. So what's for breakfast? I don't know. You tell her. Like, that's my point.
I also think that what you're saying is it creates a way to be able to cutthroat each other as the parents.
Of course.
Yeah.
And not even consider the child.
Of course.
That's good.
The child is the one who
That's
ends
good.
up suffering.
Mm-hmm.
The child is
Yeah.
the one
Yes,
who ends
sir.
up suffering. And
Yeah.
the bad part is, being the man in the defense of a man from my position, there was nothing in that example that I could have did.
Right.
There was nothing. I had no money. I had no money. I had nothing in here. So it wasn't an example of me not trying to do. It was I could not do. But the last of my money went to that person.
Right.
So while I'm sitting here starving and my child is starving, you're over there flourishing with money. You're a nurse. And then you got my little bit of money on top of that. So if I ever go to a court and I have to tell that same story to a judge, what do you think the judge is going to look at the end of the day? This is why this is happening. This is why this is happening. Because it's people like me who have stories like that. You know? So when they call you, like, oh, what she eat for breakfast? Nothing. Whatever the fuck you about to get when you pick her up. Sad, but true.
Yeah.
If I would have had my little measly tag money back, whatever the fuck, could have got some breakfast. Could have got a little box of cereal, some milk or some shit like that at that time.
Yeah.
But because it doesn't work like that and people try to be petty and funny, you gotta state the obvious. You the one with the cash. Not me. I'm the one giving it up. I'm the one going broke. You the one gaining it. I'm the one losing it.
And you know, it's the funniest thing I heard from my ex-wife. I was like, you know what? I can't wait. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get more time with the kids, you know what I'm saying, this summer. Whoa. Why are you going to do that? I was like, what you mean? What you mean, why? I'm like, because I want to. Because she realized, no, that'll fuck with the amount of money that you give me.
Exactly.
Like, that's fucked up. Like, what are you doing with the money? It doesn't matter. It's to cover the kids' living expenses, not yours.
Exactly.
That's the definition of child support. That's the definition of it. It's the child's living expenses, not yours and the child. No, the child.
Yeah, but see, I believe that's where the concept that a lot of young women think that having a baby by a particular man or male is going to keep him. No. It's going to make him be responsible. It's going to make him want to be the father that you need him to be for this child.
No.
And see, well, I'm not saying that this is my situation, but I'm just simply saying that is a false narrative that's created by circumstances like that.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
You're right.
Because sometimes the other party be upfront. They will flat out tell you, because I was flat out told I don't want any more kids. But yet you weren't exuding any kind of behavior that would speak such things to match what you're saying. Do you get what I'm saying? So again, if you continue to play with fire, eventually you get burned. And so that created a child, whether you wanted it or not. Ta-da, we here.
Right.
So what you gonna do about it? And it was like, well, I just want to be done with it the quickest way possible. You know, I hear people throwing around the abortion term and different stuff like that, and I don't really take that lightly. But then again, I'm different, because it's more to that than just having somebody scrape something out of you that's supposed to be living.
It's political.
It's a mental thing. It's an emotional thing. It's a scar that you will carry for the rest of your life.
But here's the thing: everybody has to be mindful in that situation.
He said it the best. He said if a woman, and that's what's so dangerous about all of this politics behind it, because it creates this gender type of role thing. Yeah. It creates this gender.
But you know that that's a part of the agenda.
Of course.
As long as we beefing with each other, as long as we can't get along, is that we're not making any babies, and that's part of the controlled population.
My body, my choice, and now you have.
Well, what the fuck is we even? That's just a distraction.
My wallet.
Yeah, but that's
my choice, right?
But that's just a distraction, because that's just a distraction. The whole road thing and all that shit. Here's why. Because y'all locked us down for 4 fucking years, telling us we can't go nowhere, we can't do this, we can't do that. Y'all thought that was going to slow some shit down, but instead it created a whole new generation of baby boomers. From 2020 to 2024 has been nothing but new life all around here, because that's what's going to happen when you lock people up in the house and it ain't nothing else for them to do but eat and have sex. Yeah. So in the end, whatever y'all was trying to do, it didn't work. It didn't work. We still popping babies out.
It's my wallet, my choice.
Woo!
I feel it.
That's so good. That's so good.
It is your choice, because you know what? You know what? As most men, they don't. You know what I'm saying? Truth be told, we've been dating down since the beginning, because we make the rules, we make the money. So if you like something, you figure out, guess what? That creature ain't making the same amount of money you are, but she's pretty and she smells good. Well, hopefully she smells good. And you're going to spend a few dollars to make her feel better about herself and who you are in her life, in her eyes. You know what I mean? So, hell yeah, my wallet, my choice. I ain't messing with the ugly Betty.
If you're going to give her the right to choose what she wants to do, I have the right to run.
Exactly.
Well, see, the harsh reality about this whole topic, because we getting ready to wrap it up, is that a lot of babies, children, kids, whatever term you like to refer to them by,
nigglets,
were created out of just kicking it. It wasn't no plan. I wasn't banking on when we got up and we was done that it was going to result into us being parents.
Well, can we say that 1/3 of them?
Carelessness is the word I'm looking for. A lot of us were created out of carelessness. And so that still affects the psyche, is what I'm saying. Because what happens is when you create it out of carelessness and there is no plan of action, where two parents are working together to make sure that this child is going to get an equal balance of both the mother and the father, what happens is the single parent, or the parent who it shows up the most out of the two, end up spending the rest of the kid's life all the way up until they 18 trying to make up for that in different little ways. And this is what create entitled little fucks. I'm sorry to say it like that, but I'm saying children be having these entitled ways and mentality and mindsets, and that's where it come from, because the parent don't realize that the stuff that they doing to try to fill those voids with the absent parent, perhaps, for example, is only aiding and embedding in the behavior of the child. It's not it's not going to give you the results that you're looking for.
Pure facts. I just always look at it. I'll say something, be out of here. I say it like this. I always joke around, especially with my girlfriend. All the time. I'll be like, listen, I say this with everybody. How come when we look at each other as black folks, and I know the answer, but I like to just poke at it. I'm like, how come when you see these white folks, right? You see these white people, and you see how you ever go into somebody's house, right? I have a lot of white colleagues and shit. I always go into the house, and I always notice this. You go in the crib, and you notice there's a nursery room. Or something. Maybe there's a nursery room, but there's no fucking baby. And you go, all right. You just walk out and they be like, what's going on? And maybe they're sitting there talking and go, oh, we're expecting. Scott and I are trying. And you're like, holy shit, they really planned this out. They took their steps. There's not even a baby here, and they got everything already set up. They're trying. You see how they can sit, how you two sit right now together, and we're at dinner or something, and you're like, hey, look, me and Drew are trying for a baby. You're like, holy shit, that's so cute. You guys are doing it in the right way. It's not like you guys just sat here and it's like now you go back to the hood and it's like, oh, we just fucked, you know what I'm saying? It just so happens, oh, she, shorty pregnant. There is no plan. There is no nursery in the house.
But that's what I'm saying.
No, that's what I wanted to comment on, because see, a lot of people, like you said, like half of the people are brought here, you know what I'm saying, because of like just not playing, right? But I'm saying 1/3 of the population is brought here by just lust itself. That's why you got these lustful people continuing this behavior.
Oh, that's like, so good.
Of like, listen, because like not trying to be funny, but you got this person over here who like has this dysfunctional relationship in their past, and this person over here who has this dysfunctional background, and they get together lustfully, and then they create this spark. Now, the spark is one lustful, extreme lustful spark, and now it's left off into the world. So no matter, even if there's two people there trying their best to co-parent, this thing was mutant, was created from something of lust. So it's going to continue to try the same cycle that you created. So now you got, the people that were unplanned, right? And then you got, as I call them, the rogues that's out there. Oh, the Rolling Stone, I want to hit that, I want to hit that, I want to hit that, I want to hit that. You know what I'm saying? So not only is the mentality breeded by just circumstance, but behaviorally. You know what I'm saying?
And black folks do it too. I'm not gonna say it's all white folks.
Oh no, if you listen to most white girls, you know what I'm saying? These heifers go on these like staycations for like a weekend. These little heifers then got knocked off 45 times. You know what I'm saying? But then come back like 30 years from now. You're like, well, who is that? Oh, well, I've been with my husband for 20 years. But yeah, you don't want to talk about 15 years ago. You knocked off like 40 dudes that weekend in Cancun.
About that one guy. That's why it's awkward. I mean, I always looked at that growing up.
I don't understand that though. The whole, I'm 1,000% sure.
Really? We got, there's not even that many percent.
Because we got to talk about that.
There's not even that many percentages.
That created a whole era in which we know to be the Maury Povey show. You know what I'm saying? So again,
that's why he's not
I brought that up to say that why can't you just be honest? I don't know.
It don't pay as well. Honesty don't pay.
I don't care if it pay. We're talking about the well-being of this child. It's not about you. The child deserves to know who her father is.
I think once you're at that point, especially for a lot of women that do, because of course it's the woman that does it for that, because they're the only one that can. But it's like, I think at that point it's too late. They can't go back. They're habitual line steppers. They're pathological liars and they're habitual line steppers. It's too late for them to sit there and tell you the truth because you're already in father mode. You're already giving. These people are selfish. They want their cake and they eat it too. Some of them already know who the daddy is. Honestly.
That's why as givers you got to set limits, because takers never do.
Yo, for real. It's sad. It's a really sad truth. But that's why I gave my example of the two white folks that are like, Scott and I are trying. And he's like, oh, that's fucking crazy. Like, there's no doubt in what's going on. There's no doubt. This is Drew's baby.
But a lot of that comes from mental health illness and identity crises, because nobody wants to take the time out to actually get to know somebody. It's like, I'm sexually attracted to you. I want to lay down with you, and that's it. Yeah. And it's more prominent right now than it's ever been before, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Because like you said, this is the generation of those mutants, as you call them, aka children, now adults, who were birthed out of that lust.
Yeah.
And so this is why we saying it's like children of the corn.
The children of lust. The children of the L. The children of the L. Children of the L.
That was this conversation was so good. I am really gonna enjoy being on tag now, y'all. Hey man, every Friday at 8 p.m. and every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Come rock with me, man. Let's talk. It's too much for us to discuss, for us to not have nothing to talk about. Okay. I appreciate you, Monte, fam, for sure. Like sharing your story and chiming in on the conversation. Hey man, It's Friday. Be safe. It's the weekend. You know, people like to get out of their body on the weekends. Be careful. It's cold. It's snowing again. Take care of yourself and somebody else, okay? I love y'all, and I will see y'all on Tuesday. Peace.
Hey, thank you for having me.
You're welcome, man.